I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously.
To no one's surprise, reports are coming out that Shannon Sharpe's career with Disney is over. For those who aren't aware, Disney owns pretty much everything.
If you say that one more time, I'm going to poke the shit out of you when I see you.
Welcome back to Juicy Pulse, your daily dose of scandal and glamour. Let's spill the tea on today's biggest celebrity stories. Shannon Sharpe just got blindsided, and the whole world watched it go down in real time. One moment he was ESPN star boy, cashing in million-dollar checks and smiling for the cameras. Then bam, Disney and ESPN dropped him like he was radioactive. No warning, no mercy. His entire media kingdom, gone. Crushed overnight like it never even existed. But this wasn't some petty drama. It was a straight-up implosion. We're talking secret lawsuits, shady settlements, and audio recordings that hit the internet like a bomb. Everything started collapsing at once. Staffers at ESPN turned on him, whispering behind the scenes. Disney bigwigs panicked, trying to protect their clean image brand deals. And just like that, the empire started sinking. Fast. And Shannon, he didn't see it coming. He was caught off guard. And now, insiders say he's furious. He's not planning to go out quietly. No way. Word is, he's behind closed doors right now, cooking up a revenge plan so wild it might pull the whole network into the flames. His legacy's already burning, and he's ready to light the rest of the building up before he walks. People been feeling something was off with Shannon for a while now. Like, deep down, everyone knew, but nobody dared say it. Why? 'Cause it's Shannon Sharpe. Big name, huge fame, powerful black man, walking icon. But now, everything's crashing down and the truth's coming out fast. Shannon Sharpe was supposed to be that guy, a story we could all root for. But let's cut the act. It's time to admit, Shannon might have a lot going for him, but smart ain't exactly his strong suit, especially off the field. On the turf, sure, he gave over 30 years to the game and it shows. Man reads plays like he invented the playbook. And when you throw a camera on him, instant charisma. During his run with Skip Bayless on Undisputed, Shannon was everywhere. Black Twitter basically kept the lights on using his memes through the whole pandemic. So when that show ended, it made perfect sense for Stephen A. Smith to scoop him up for First Take. That move, straight power play. Shannon had that Southern black uncle energy on lock. Brown liquor, cigar smoke, silky durag, deep-voiced wisdom. Some folks raised eyebrows, whispering he was walking a fine line, maybe too close to caricature. But he was so entertaining, most just let it slide, especially after Club Shay Shay blew up like crazy viral. That Cat Williams interview in 2024, it put him everywhere. At that point, Shannon was golden. Everybody wanted in. There was even talk of a $100 million contract from ESPN. Yeah, that big. But just when the bag was in reach, Shannon reminded the world he moves reckless. Older guys dating younger women isn't new, but Shannon jumped into that mess head first. People still talk about Diddy bagging 19-year-old Cassie when he was pushing 40. Eddie Murphy got enough kids for a whole NFL lineup, and he's married to someone 20 years younger. So when Shannon made his move, it wasn't shocking, but it was sloppy. Timing, context, optics, he fumbled the whole play. We've seen age gaps before, but Shannon took it way past the line. Man was 54, messing with a 19-year-old. Even Leonardo DiCaprio would have hit pause like, bruh, that's too far. But hold on, it gets worse. This wasn't just a wild age gap. Shannon got caught slipping on tape. Allegedly, he told the girl he'd choke her if she kept running her mouth. On recording. Now, whether she baited him or not doesn't even matter. The fact that he actually said it just proves he had zero awareness of what kind of heat he was walking into. And don't even get started on the sex tape mess because, yup, there's supposedly a video floating around out there too. And the wildest part, Shannon's got no NDA, nothing to protect him. Like, how are you over 50 sitting on millions and still moving like it's your first week in college? Especially after everything that went down last year on Instagram. Remember when his private business spilled all over the timeline? That alone should have been the wake-up call. He should have locked it all down with airtight NDAs, a fire legal team, total privacy lockdown, but nope, that's not what he did. Now it's looking bad. Disney and ESPN, yeah, they're not riding for him. They pulled the plug fast. Didn't even wait 2 full days before the walls started falling. Sure, ESPN tried to play it slick, saying Shannon was stepping away to handle personal matters. But let's not play dumb. Insiders came out immediately saying, This ain't no personal break. He got pushed. Word on the street is Shannon Sharpe's ESPN career might be dead in the water. One source claimed it's over, but when I checked in with someone behind the scenes at ESPN, they said Shannon's still showing up for First Take on Mondays and Tuesdays. The rest of the week, just scheduled days off. But fans weren't buying it. Not for a second. Comments lit up instantly. He's done. And honestly, they might not be wrong. ESPN stood by him the first time he slipped. But this ain't that. It's way messier. And it's hard to see Shannon surviving this kind of storm, especially on a brand as clean-cut as ESPN. Guilty or not, folks are saying loud and clear, a man his age shouldn't even be in these situations. Even Stephen A. Smith, the very guy who vouched for Shannon and brought him in, had to go on his own podcast and admit he personally called Disney's top execs. That tells you everything. He saw the writing on the wall. This wasn't a vacation or a personal timeout. It was a slow boot out the back door. And they made sure it happened before the NFL season started. They weren't protecting Shannon. They were protecting the brand. And then the real nail in the coffin dropped. A lawsuit. Front page headlines, a 21-year-old woman hitting Shannon with a $50 million civil case. Once that went public, yeah, it was curtains. The lawsuit hit hard. Accusations of assault, battery, and emotional damage, all during what Shannon swore was a consensual relationship. His team rushed into damage control, claiming it was just some mutual BSM setup gone sideways. They said it was all a money grab, led by Tony Busby, the same legal pit bull dragging Diddy and Jay-Z through court battles. But none of that mattered. Not to Disney, not to ESPN staffers, who started flipping out behind closed doors. They called it blatant hypocrisy. Female employees had been fired over minor drama, but Shannon was getting cover after this? That didn't sit right. The message was clear. Shannon had to go. And that wasn't even the worst of it. Once that lawsuit hit the headlines, it blew the door open. Shannon's skeletons didn't just fall out. They came crashing out one after another. That closet? Crammed like a warehouse sale at Shane. First thing exposed? His type? People had been side-eyeing Shannon for years over his pattern. Always chasing super young, racially ambiguous women, while constantly taking shots at black women who carried themselves with pride. And nothing highlighted that more than the awkward, straight-up cringe moment with Yvonne Orji. Chad Ochocinco tried to play matchmaker, setting Shannon up with Yvonne, smart, stunning, successful, celibate. But instead of showing respect, Shannon clowned her on air like it was a joke. That clip aged horribly. Yvonne Orji was basically the woman men say they're praying for. Classy, grounded, faith-filled. But Shannon? He didn't just pass on her. He laughed in her face, on camera. He straight up said, "I'm looking for," then swerved and threw out the name Ms. B Nasty, a white OnlyFans star, as more his vibe. It wasn't funny, it was loud, it was clear, and it was disrespectful. That moment exposed exactly what Shannon sees as ideal, and it definitely wasn't a strong black woman walking in purpose. Once the internet started pulling receipts, his whole dating pattern was laid bare and people couldn't unsee it. Then came Gabriela Zuniga, the woman suing him for $50 million. Young, white passing, vulnerable, basically a blueprint of Shannon's usual type. But Gabriela didn't just call him controlling, she dropped bombs. She claimed Shannon filmed her without permission, ignored safe words, and pushed past limits even when she begged him to stop. That's not just messy, that's dangerous. And when she tried to walk away, Shannon allegedly hit her with a $10 million offer to keep quiet. She said no. She went public. Shannon fired back, calling it a shakedown. But at that point, the damage was done. Then came the leaked audios, and they only made things worse. Shannon and his legal team tried to clap back, pulling out old text messages where Gabriela allegedly asked for rough play, dominance, even abuse. But here's the catch. None of that matters if she said no and he kept going. That's not gray, it's game over. Consent isn't a forever pass, it's gotta be ongoing. The second someone pulls back and you keep pushing, the whole situation flips. And Shannon's mess doesn't stop at Gabriela. Once the lawsuit hit, more skeletons came crashing out. One new report claimed Shannon had a run-in with a female production assistant back during his undisputed days with Skip Bayless. Word is, there was a hush-hush settlement, hundreds of thousands, to keep it quiet. But now, it's back in the spotlight. Then there's the drama with ex-girlfriend Michelle Evans. Back in 2010, she filed a restraining order after accusing Shannon of assaulting her during a breakup sparked by cheating claims. Michelle said he forced her to her knees and assaulted her without consent. That wasn't just gossip. Shannon ended up quietly dropped from CBS Sports soon after. Now it's looking like history's on repeat, and it didn't stop there. Michelle sat down with Tasha K and spilled even more, talking about Shannon's bizarre bedroom habits, his controlling ways, and a dark side that fans never saw. Behind the cameras and memes, there was a version of Shannon Sharpe the public had no idea about. And if you thought those Club Shay episodes with Monique and Cat Williams aged badly before, go rewatch them now. Monique was basically pleading with Shannon on camera, telling him straight up to stop running after barely legal girls and get with a grown woman who could love him for real. She said, "Do it, Shannon," but he couldn't, or maybe he just wouldn't. Then Cat Williams came through, cracking jokes but dropping real warnings. He called out how risky it was for black men to be fooling around with young white women. It wasn't just comedy, it was a whole red flag with flashing lights. And let's not get it twisted. Disney and ESPN didn't suddenly wake up with a conscience. They didn't cut Shannon loose out of morals. They did it because the pressure inside the building got too real, especially from the women. Insiders said it flat out. The double standards were screaming. Women had been fired for minor stuff while Shannon was out here being protected, even with serious accusations stacking up. That silence, it started turning into real fear. Fear of a class action lawsuit, fear of bad headlines, fear that another Me Too scandal was bubbling up right under their noses. And this time, it would blow back hard. Disney didn't wait for the flames. They saw the smoke and hit the eject button fast. Let's be real. Disney doesn't care about loyalty. They care about shareholders, sponsors, and keeping that polished image crystal clean. And once Shannon became a liability overnight, he was out. Female employees at ESPN had already been grumbling for a while. Some got disciplined just for posting a photo with a politician during COVID. Too close, too risky. Meanwhile, Shannon was still on air with heavy accusations hanging over him? Nah, the double standard was loud, and Disney heard it. They weren't about to let a discrimination lawsuit blow up in their face, so they moved quick. Cut bait, no hesitation. Now Shannon's stepping away until football season, allegedly. But insiders are whispering it straight. He's not coming back. And even if he did, that stain's never coming off. It's sad, because this man had the momentum to be bigger than Stephen A. Smith. He could have built his own sports empire. Now, he's just trying to save face and salvage what's left of his image. And poor Stephen A., he's looking like the messy middleman in all this. He vouched for Shannon, fought to get him on First Take, told the network it would be a ratings win. Now he's stuck holding the bag while everything falls apart on live TV. Stephen A. might be trying to play it cool, but insiders say he's fuming behind the scenes. Not just because Shannon embarrassed the brand, but because it made him look reckless. Bringing Shannon in was his big move, his power play. And now it's backfired so bad, folks at ESPN are quietly questioning his judgment. And the fallout, it's getting messier by the day. Shannon's podcast deals, on ice, brand endorsements, drying up. Even Club Shay Shay's momentum has hit a wall. The same companies that once lined up to be featured are suddenly ghosting him. No calls, no emails, nothing. And here's where it gets real dark. There's talk of more women coming forward. Yup, whispers behind the scenes hint that Gabriella might not be the only one. A few media outlets are already digging, trying to verify new names and old receipts. If even one of them steps up publicly, it's over, fully over. The story's no longer about just one scandal, it's a pattern. A reputation that went from respected athlete to media superstar to now a headline nobody wants to touch. Shannon's not just losing deals, he's losing credibility fast, and the craziest part, he still hasn't spoken publicly. No interview, no statement, just silence, while everything around him crumbles. Shannon's silence is starting to speak louder than words, and not in a good way. Fans who once rode hard for him are now split down the middle. Some say he's being targeted, that this is a takedown. But others, they're not buying the victim act. They're asking the real questions. Why isn't he denying it? Why hasn't he gone live? Where's the smoke if this was all lies? Meanwhile, Stephen A. is cleaning up the mess alone. He's been forced to address it on his podcast, on socials, even in side interviews. But you can tell he's walking on eggshells. Every sentence is careful. Every word is weighed, because he knows one wrong move and he's next. And ESPN, they're moving like Shannon's already gone. Producers are reworking segments. Guest lineups are shifting. Nobody's saying it out loud, but behind the scenes, they're already replacing him. Quietly, slowly, but it's happening. Even Club Shay Shay's future is up in the air. Contracts are being reviewed. Some staff reportedly haven't been paid in weeks. One insider said the vibe changed overnight. From a buzzing studio to straight tension, people are scared. No one knows if they're next on the chopping block What started as one lawsuit has now turned into a slow-motion implosion of everything Shannon built, and he's watching it collapse in complete silence. What's wild is how fast it's all falling apart. Shannon spent decades building his name. NFL Hall of Famer, media mogul, viral icon, and now it's all slipping through his fingers like sand. Deals gone, friends ghosting, executives treating his name like toxic waste, and the streets are watching. People who once praised his every move are now dragging him in comments, digging up old clips, tearing down everything he once stood for. His unk persona, gone cold. That swagger, that laugh, that smooth-talking charm. Folks ain't feeling it anymore. They're calling it fake, calling him fake, and deep down you can tell it's getting to him. Sources say Shannon's been ducked off, barely talking to anyone except lawyers. He's angry, not just at the media, not just at the network, but at himself. Because he knows he handed them the ammo. All the flash, all the clout, but behind the scenes, no protection, no NDA, no plan, just ego. Now, the same platforms he helped build are turning on him. Even YouTubers who once praised Club Shay Shay are switching up, chasing views off his downfall. It's like watching an empire burn in slow motion, and Shannon, he's sitting in the ashes, silent and alone. Now Stephen A. Smith, he's scrambling, fast, trying to clean his hands, backpedal, shift the spotlight, but it's too late. The mask is off, the internet's flooded with receipts, the timeline's bloody with red flags that everybody ignored because Shannon was funny, viral, and smooth with the talk. But behind the memes and muscle shirts was a man making reckless moves, burning bridges, stacking enemies, and thinking he'd never get burned. Well, the flames finally caught up. Shannon really thought he was untouchable, that he was too loved, too polished, too big to fall. He thought the rules didn't apply, that he could chase 19-year-olds, clown black women with pride, and cover it all up with hush money and slick NDAs. But one thing he forgot, you can't bribe karma, and now it's all crumbling, publicly. His empire's falling apart faster than he can post another gym selfie or thirst trap. And if you think this was rock bottom, buckle up, cause Gabriela Zuniga's team isn't even done yet. Word is more audio's coming, more texts, maybe even full-blown videos. Yeah, videos. And if that next leak hits the net like insiders are whispering, Shannon might not be the only one going down. This could drag in bigger names, deeper secrets, and set off a scandal that shakes up way more than just his career. Trust me, you haven't seen nothing yet. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to stay in the loop with all the latest tea. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll catch you in the next video.